I'm Tara, and this is
Jill.
And why am I always the one introducing us?
Because you know what you're doing.
Oh.
Does that make you feel better?
We wrote together the Dining on a Dime Cookbook, 1,200 Ways to Save on Your Grocery Bill Using Recipes and Tips Without Using Coupons or Living on Beans Alone. And it is the recipes that you want, like baking mix and how to make taco seasoning and how to make tortillas and all
how to do basic
roast,
cooking like mashed potatoes and
yep,
iced tea. And
so that's all in there. And then Penny Pinchin' Mama is Mom's story of how she lived on $500 a month for with 2 teenagers. And today, on page 95, we are talking about how she paid for her cars with $500 a month. And you can see it's one page. So this will be a short video today.
Oh, goodness.
All right. So how do you pay for cars when you don't have any money?
You just don't buy one. First of all, if you have the opportunity, you may have to use public transportation like a bus. That's to start out with. When at this time in Wichita, there was almost no bus service whatsoever. You almost had to have a vehicle.
This was in the 80s.
And so I needed a vehicle to do that. Plus, I was doing 3 jobs, this, that, and trying to be home with the kids when they got home from school. So if I had to ride a bus it would take up several hours of my day, and then I would lose money. So a bus wasn't working for me. So what I did was I got the most inexpensive car that I could find with the lowest mileage. And I think actually up until the car I have now, and just the one before this one was $1,000. But before that, for every time I bought me a car, I paid $500 for a car. Is all I ever paid for a car. And
even as recently as about 3 years ago.
Yeah. And so I would pay $500 for a car, and those things would last me 5 to 10 years, which is a long time for a used car.
Considering you don't do much maintenance on your car.
No, I don't do any. As a matter of fact, this year was the first time I ever went and officially had a tune-up done on my car. And my mechanic said, yeah, you're supposed to have this done once a year. And I didn't know it wasn't like once every 5 years that you were supposed to do it, or 10 years.
She stresses Michael out.
And my dad's a mechanic. He has a heart attack over me all the time. So, but the thing was, the thing people say is, I want to have a new car because it has that warranty that if it breaks down, it's going to cost me more to have it repaired than it does to...
Nope.
It does. We have done this with how many cars? We have calculated between Tara and me and my son. We have calculated.
It never, ever pays to buy a brand new car from a cost-saving money standpoint.
No,
ever.
Even if you have to replace the whole engine in the car, it still ends up being cheaper than if you buy a brand new car with a warranty. Yeah. And so that is the main thing. You buy the cheapest car you can find with the lowest mileage. Now, I think this is important because people don't check that. I don't buy anything really that has more than 80,000 on my cars normally. That's where I'm real picky. I look at the cars. You can tell on a used car if it's been spotlessly clean in the engine and inside out. There might be something wrong with it.
If it's just so spotless,
sparkly,
nobody's been in it.
They're cleaning it up for some reason.
Yeah.
They're doing it. Now, if you look at the engine and it's covered with oil and grease everywhere, that's not a car because something's wrong. It's going to be losing oil. Something's wrong. The inside of the car, you can tell, even if they vacuumed it out and dusted it, if there's cigarette burns, if there's worn spots on the carpet, rips, tears, these people have not taken care of the car. Smells. These are all signs to look for. If you know what you're doing, you can find a reasonably good car, you know.
And no offense, old lady cars are the best. So when Grandma and Grandpa decide they're not driving anymore, those are the best kind of cars.
And there really are a lot of old lady cars out there.
Yeah,
I mean,
like this car she has now, we got it from Habitat, and a 95-year-old man owned it and hardly ever drove it.
And
so,
the one I did before this one was an older lady that had it. She only had 36,000 miles on it, and she was put in a nursing home. And that's how I got it. And I like to ask people I kind of know if they know of anything for sale too.
Ask your friends, ask your family, ask your pastor.
Yeah, just spread the word that you're looking for a car. Now, sometimes, like, I've had the car in an accident. I couldn't repair it, and I had to just live. I had to live with the duct taped window, you know,
and the time you could only turn left.
The time I could only turn left
because
the fender was bent in and so bad, and so I had to just turn left every place I went. I lived with that until, you know, I could get it fixed. Then there
Not that we recommend it.
No,
just saying.
But
that's
if things are tight, you may have to do that. And even when the battery didn't work on the one car, I had to get out and jump it every morning to get it started in the winter.
Save up the money.
Yeah, until I could save up to get the new battery. And that's just the way you do things. Yeah. I think a lot of times a new car, even though we convince ourselves it's for the warranty, there's a status symbol for having a new car. Oh. And we don't want to drive a clunker. Yep. For a lot of people, it's embarrassing. A lot of young kids, they start college, they think they should have a new car. You know, they're of that mindset. They should have the same type of car that mom and dad have. And you just really, you've got to get over that. Like I said 100 times, if you're serious about getting out of debt and saving money, you have to get over the emotional attachment to everything that you have. And you can't let self-esteem and, well, I don't feel good about myself. And you have to recognize, don't deceive yourself by saying, well, I need to have the warranty on this, and that's a good excuse for me buying this new car. Stop deceiving yourself. You're buying that new car with the warranty because it makes you feel good to have a new car.
Yep. Yeah. And when you don't buy a new car, because mom didn't have a new car, her insurance was a lot less, her tags were a lot less, her taxes were a lot less. So not only do you save on the actual car payments, you save on all of the tags, insurance and everything. And people never factor that in. And most people, they can't even afford the tags, the insurance to go with a new car, let alone the car payment. Yep. It's crazy. And there were a few times where we were in car accidents. I don't think any of them were ever our fault. Were they? Yeah, I don't. Yeah, or your fault. Yeah. But when that would happen, mom wouldn't take the money and go and fix the car if it wasn't something that wasn't mechanically unsafe. So, like, if there was a big ding in the bumper, she would leave it and use that cash to pay for other things. Yeah, I'd use the money for like a new battery that was needed, or you know, that kind of thing. So that's kind of where we got some of the money for those things. One other thing too, if you do have to have mechanical work, try to do bartering sometimes if you can. Yeah. You know, if I could make meals for them or do their ironing for them. Some of these things, sometimes you can barter to have. And I know we'll get the saying, oh, well, that was in the 80s. $500 isn't the same as it is now. Actually, that's not true. Mom lives on $700 a month now. So, yeah, it's gone up, but not that much. Yeah. And she does all these things now and lives on $700 People don't realize since the 1980s or even before, I have lived on within $200 of $500 a month all these years. Never, my income's not changed, but by $200 up or down every month, and that's it. Recessions come, expenses go up, and I still just keep living on that same amount. Because even though we do the website and everything, we don't make enough money on the website to pay Mom or I. Actually, Mom and I are doing this for free. Mike gets paid, but pretty much Mom and I are. Why are we doing this? So don't use the excuse. Yeah, nowadays it's different. No. Yeah, we get that all the time. I've lived back then and I've lived now. A lot of people that say that didn't really live back then and don't know. Yeah. So Let's see. Did we miss
think we
anything on the
covered it.
cards? Okay.
we
So
covered it.
basically, buy the cheapest star you can.
Uh-huh.
And do what you can to maintain it, but you don't have to be, crazy maintaining it because you can't afford it.
And if you do get a lemon once in a great while, you might get a lemon. Don't sour that.
Yeah.
Make that sour you on ever buying another one.
We've had 2 lemons in probably the 10 or 15 cars Mike
Just
have
resell
had,
that lemon and go get something else real quick. Yeah.
That's exactly what we did. So, no, and this is, Mom spent $500 on her entire living expenses. Just so we got that straight. That's not $500 on cars, not $500 just on groceries. $500 on her entire living expenses. Housing, heat, utilities, everything. So, yeah. So, anyway. All right. Visit us at livingonadime.com. Get Mom's book, Penny Pinch and Mama, 500 Ways I Lived on $500 a Month. And our cookbook together, 1,200 recipes and tips in Dining on a Dime. You can get it in the description below. And we will see you later with our next installment. I don't know what we're doing next. We've got a few left. Jobs, laundry, a few things like that. Organizing, yeah. Mm-hmm. So please check back in a couple of days and we'll have the next episode.
Mm-hmm.